find the perfect husband.
Oh, ሰላም ለእናንተ ይሁን። እንደገና ወደ ዩቲዩብ ቻናላችን እንኳን ደህና መጣችሁ ማለት ፈልጋለሁ። ዛሬ ከዮሂ ጋር ነን። ዮሂ እንኳን ደህና መጣችሁ ባያችሁ።
Yeah, thank you for coming to this channel and for clicking on this video.
እግዚአብሔር ይመስገን። ዮሂ ዛሬ ያዘጋጀነው የተወሰኑ አሜሪካ የተወለዱ ታዳጊ ወጣቶችን ስለ ትዳር ጠይቀናቸዋል። በዚህ ጉዳይ ነውና ከመግቢያችን ግን አንቺን ስለ ትዳር ጥቂት ነገር ልጠይቅሽ እወዳለሁና ልጆች መቼ መማር አለባቸው ብለሽ ታምኛለሽ ስለ ትዳር?
Kids should learn about marriage from their youth. They should start from very young, from a very young age. I remember a few days ago, Hero is 5 years old, and my dad, she was like, "What's that ring on your finger?" And Daddy was explaining to her what a ring meant and when you're supposed to get it, and yeah, something like that. You gotta start from the youth.
ያ ጥሩ ምሳሌ አምጥታለች። ትንሿ ልጃችን ሰሞኑን ይሄን ቀለበቴን አይታ ዳዲ ኬታ መጣው ሪንግ አለችኝ። ማሚ ነች የሰጠችኝ አልኳት። እኔ ፈልገዋለሁ አለች። ይሄን አልሰጥሽም፣ መቼ ነው የማገኘው አለች። ስታድጊ የሚሰጥሽ ይዘጋጃል፣ እግዚአብሔር ያዘጋጃል እያልኳት ነበርና ትንሽ በሚመስሉ አጋጣሚዎችም ልጆቻችንን ስለ ትዳር ልናስተምራቸው ይገባል። እሺ እንግዲህ ከዚህ በኋላ ያለውን ከታዳጊ ወጣቶች ጋር ያደረግነውን ቃለ ምልልስ እንድታደምጡ አደራ እንላችኋለን። እንደምትማሩበት ዘናም እንደምትሉበት እናምናለን። እግዚአብሔር ቤታችሁን ይባርክ። ልጆቻችሁን ለተሰጣቸው የህይወት ኃላፊነት ሁሉ የምታዘጋጁ እንደምትሆኑ ተስፋ እናደርጋለን። እግዚአብሔር ይባርካችሁ።
Yeah, so continue watching, stay tuned, and God bless.
ተባረኩ። Thank you. We welcome you on behalf of Werku Ion family. I have here an amazing young guest, so let's introduce themselves. So, can you tell us who you are, how old, and what grade you are?
Sure. My name is Azaria, and I am in 8th grade, and I'm 13 years old, about to be 14.
Thank you.
My name is Orion. I'm 13 years old. I'm in 8th grade.
Thank you.
My name is Barnabas. I'm 13 years old and I'm in 8th grade.
Thank you.
My name is Abby. I'm 13 years old and I'm in 8th grade.
Thank you.
My name is Johanna. I am 15 and I'm in the 9th grade.
Thank you.
My name is Ephraim and I'm 11 and I'm in the 6th grade.
Thank you.
My name is Yorahe. I'm 12 years old and I'm in 7th grade.
Thank you again and welcome. I just would like to raise some question about marriage, and I would like to know what 15, 13 and 12 years old thinks about marriage. So let's start from Barney. What do you think marriage? What do you think marriage is?
I think marriage is a gift from God when a man and a woman spend their devoted lives together and raise a family and complete their mission that God gave them together.
Thank you. Do you think it will be boring when a man and a woman live all their age together?
No.
All right, thank you. So let's go to Johanna. Yohi, what do you think is the challenge of a marriage, especially in this 21st century?
I think the challenges of marriage, even at this time right now, is communication, because men have their own things and women do their own things, and sometimes things can get out of hand because they don't communicate as well as they should be doing.
Okay, all right. So, as you guys said, marriage is between one man and one woman. So that is the important value to know and to believe in. So, as a man, do you think the responsibility is very hard, Orion?
Yes, I feel like the responsibility is going to be challenging at some times because you have to share your vision with the rest of the family. You have to lead them through what they face, and you have to be like the face of the marriage.
Okay, thank you, Orion. Come back to Abby. in this age we don't see a lot of marriage in the young generation. What is the challenge to get into marriage?
I feel like the persuasion and where the source of the information they get and what they see of marriage from families or either friends, and when they bring it into their lives, they think about whether if it's right for them and they make their decision on their own.
Thank you. Efu, do you think in this age and time, is it hard to get into marriage or to stay into marriage?
This age?
Yeah.
I think it's like not that hard to get in marriage because mostly when you begin marriage, you're like getting to know each other. It's not going to be that much arguments. But later on in marriage, you're going to get used to each other. You're going to have some arguments, disagreements, and so later on it's going to be really tough in marriage.
I agree also. Yodahe, what do you think is the sacrifice of marriage?
Sometimes it says like when they agree to get married, they say like to be with each other, rich or poor, for better or for worse. Some people like who don't walk with God, they only leave them when they're poor or stuff. We should just stay with them and be intact with them, in contact with them every time. And when we do that, that shows we walk with God and we are His children.
That's good. That I would like to ask you, who benefits more in marriage, the man or the woman, or equal, or what do you think?
I would say equal because in marriage, at their wedding, when the man and woman they get married, they become one. So everything is either a loss for them or a win for them. When the man loses and the woman wins, both of them have lose. When one of them wins and the other loses, both have won because both of them are together in life forever. So if something's an accomplishment for one, it's for all, and if it's a loss for one, it's for all.
Thank you very much. That's great. Let me go back to Barney. And if you have to give one single advice in marriage, what do you think is that advice?
I would say my advice would be put God at the foundation of your marriage and put God before anything, because sometimes you might hit a rough time through your marriage, but always know that God is there and He's willing to help you.
Wow, that's great, really. Thank you, Barney. Coming back to Yogi, in this 21st century, the society is getting weaker, especially because of the family is getting weaker also. So in your generation, what do you think is good to improve and have a good generation and also a good family?
Like Barney said, I think when it all comes down to if you know Christ or not, and if you walk in His ways. Because people say that they are Christians, but they actually don't walk in the ways that the Bible tells them to walk in. And I feel like once we understand what it means to be a Christian and how to walk according to the Bible, we realize how important marriage is, and then we walk in those ways so that we can build a family and we can do the vision that that God has planned us to complete. So when we realize what it means to be a Christian, then that's how we know how a marriage can be complete, even in the 21st century.
Wow, that's great. That's great. If maybe most people would say these guys are young to know even and to learn about marriage. When do you think parents should start teaching their children about marriage?
Probably 13, 12 years old.
Why?
Because when you're a teenager, the next step is basically being an adult. So when you're an adult, you're gonna have to get married. So it's better if you teach them at their young, when they're 13, at their teenager time.
Okay. Do you all agree?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is there any difference, Abby?
I say as young as possible because
Why?
their father and their mother, they see their marriage, they see their mother and father. So to grow that seed as young as possible, and so pouring out information at different levels, so when they grow they can know better.
Okay, Johanna.
When you're talking about marriage, you're not giving everything all at once. Like, and there's different levels to show each and every, because everything, marriage is a whole topic. Like, there's a lot of things you can learn from it. But from their youth, you can probably tell them, oh, marriage is from one man and one woman. Oh, marriage is when you get older and you can have a child and you can do the plan that God has for you. Like, there's different levels. But at that young stage, you can tell them like the basics. So.
Yeah, I think I agree also, because the society starts teaching the children about marriage very early, starting showing them pictures and the values also. That is why it is always good to teach children about marriage and all good stuff early. So coming back to Yodai, so what do you think will be the challenge in this generation to get good marriage? Is it spiritual life, financial status, or knowledge and wisdom about marriage?
Well, I would say kind of a spiritual and knowledgeable, because like if you're younger and like you don't walk with God, you're not like you don't walk in the good ways. Like when you see about marriage, you'll only think about the other stuff that's not important. But God doesn't see marriage in that way. God sees marriage as two to become one to work together, because two is better than one. So what people need to see from marriage is that it's not always about the unnecessary things like that we need in life.
I think I will have two final questions. When is good, do you guys think, to start marriage? I'll get all of you a chance. Orion.
I think when you first you have to finish college, you have to find a stable income. You have to be ready. God has to tell you you're ready, and you have to pray to God. And when you're financial ready, you finish college, and then you can start praying to God for a wife.
Okay, Azare.
I think you should start like a marriage, or start not even start getting married, or start looking for marriage after like Orion said, when you're after college, and like lots of prayer to God. You can't just immediately pray to God and look up. You have to go to God daily, like in a daily prayer. You have to like go with God, whatever God tells you to do, you have to be with Him. Also make sure that like you're money stable, and whenever God tells you like even to go anywhere or to do anything, like trust His will for you, and like He'll give you the wife that you need.
Thank you, Johanna.
I agree with what they said, but another thing to add on to that is you gotta be mature first, and your relationship with Christ has to be stable first, because you cannot just come out of nowhere praying for God to give you a marriage. And even though money and income and all that is good, and finishing your education is good, I see a lot of people who have been married who have not finished their education. But even though those are good, one thing you need to keep in mind is that you are mature and that you have a stable relationship with Christ. That's the only way you can move forward into marriage.
Okay, how can you get matured, Efro?
That's a good question, but you could get matured by take some stuff really seriously. Don't joke around when it's not time to joke, and you should train yourself to be mature and to take things seriously.
That's good. So by taking everything seriously, I like that.
So like I have two answers for the questions you guys were answering. Like to know when you're ready is to know when God is going to answer. Like you don't just quickly rush like they say, and you just pray to God dearly. Not one day, but as many days as you can count. You have to just wait until God says like, okay, it's time. It always comes down to three answers: yes, no, or wait. So like getting married like younger, and you won't be prepared for all of this. And it always comes down, sometimes bad people do abortions. It doesn't matter the age, it matters when God says you're ready.
That's good. Is there anyone who wants to add? Abby?
I'll add. Just like they said, it's all on your maturity level, and when you know God is okay with it, when you know that your relationship is strong enough to add a person into your life, to be joined with somebody, and when you have a big okay from God and you're mature enough to understand what you're putting yourself into, what your plan, what you have for the future.
That's great. Is there anyone want to add anything? If not, okay, pardon. Go.
I agree with them, and I think you should get married at an age when you're mature, and like after you finish college, like.
What do you think marriage is?
I think marriage is that you always have to have marriage, and that when you have marriage, you don't always need to have kids.
Okay.
How many kids? Like,
You don't need to have like lots and lots of kids, like 10 or 21.
What about you?
The moms.
The man. The man is important, yes? Okay, thanks.